as an Indian matchmaker, you're seeing couples, not couples, but you're seeing individuals make decisions on who they want to be with. But I imagine if you're matching people in the Western side of the world, right? I'm assuming it's a younger generation compared to the generations from the past in terms of Indian cultures, right? So what would you say is the biggest difference between what an Indian single is looking for in a partner today compared to what, let's say, you were looking for, or what your elders were looking for in the past? What do you feel like is the difference between those two generations?
I think generally, South Asians put a lot of emphasis on, education and, so the previous generation, when my parents were looking for someone for me, I had an arranged marriage.
You had an arranged marriage?
Yes, I did.
Okay.
So, when they were looking for someone, the things they look for are, education. Is there a cultural match between the families? Is the boy really educated? Is he having a good job? Does he have a close family? Does he, things like that.
Very pragmatic.
The younger generation, very pragmatic.
Yeah.
Yes. But then when the younger generation comes to me, of course, those things I wouldn't say are unimportant, but they are not the first priority. The things they are looking for are, Anu, tell me, what are his interests? I would like to know, is he an outdoors person or indoors? Does he like hiking? Does he like going to Broadway shows? Does he like, things like that? They're looking for something similar on a day-to-day basis, not necessarily long-term, like, being settled in a good job and things like that. So I mean, if that happens too, then, that's a bonus, but that's not the main thing.
So basically this generation is looking for more like social needs rather than the pragmatic needs, right? Which kind of makes sense because we're in an environment where, like, a lot of those pragmatic needs are taken care of in so many different ways that the needs that are often overlooked now are the social ones. But I noticed something in your response that I want to ask you about. You mentioned a lot of the things that I feel like a woman is looking for, I would imagine, right? Do you serve both men and women?
Sure, yes. We serve both men and women. And, it's hard to, I don't want to stereotype them, but, overall, I've observed some things about men and some things about women in what they're looking for in a partner.
Really? What is that? I need to know right now. Like, tell me what is a typical Indian man and an Indian woman separately are looking for that might differ from each other?
Jeff wants to know the secret sauce.
I want to know the secret sauce, and I want to sprinkle it on my, on my dish.
Okay, so overall, most of the women, Indian women, I think they're looking for someone sort of close to their age, not much older to them. Someone who, someone who's passionate about their career. It doesn't mean that, they have to have had a master's degree or, they have to be working in a multinational corporation necessarily, but they want someone whose job means a lot to them. It's just not a job, but, it's like a passion in their life, passion in their life. So they want to see that.
Okay.
They want to see a guy who thinks independently. It's nice to have find a guy who's close to his family, but can he think independently as well?
Right.
That would be great. So these are the things, and women are also looking. I mean, this might be common for men and women, but they're also looking for someone who's, respectful of their partner's needs. Are they, for example, a woman is in a really high position in her career. Is a man able to respect her for that? And, is there a mutual respect going on there? So that is common to both. In terms of men, I think definitely I would say that most of the men who come to me are, even more focused on bringing someone acceptable to their family. So that's not necessarily a bad thing. So they're looking for someone, who they can bring home, who would adjust. Adjust as, let's say, who fits in the family. Let's put it that way.
What's considered a fit in the family? Because that can mean different things, right? Is that like a reflection of what a woman does for or with the family? Is it a reflection of what she looks like, how she dressed? Is it a reflection of like the type of parenting that she received? Like what stands as a priority for the guys?
I think what stands as a priority is someone, who keeps the family together. They say in Indian families, when you get married, families are literally getting married to each other.
Right.
It's not only the guy and girl.
Yeah.
So wow. He must be looking for someone, who will keep the family together. And it's not that they're going to stay with his parents necessarily, but, just encouraging the interaction between family members. And because this will all reflect, when you're thinking about the next generation, when they're going to have children. So they're looking for someone who would help, just like his parents did, bring everybody together, whether his spouse would be open to that. So to give you an example, let's say there are two women and a guy is, talking to both, let's say, and there's one person who's mainly focusing on the relationship with him. And while the other person wants to get to know his family as well, the obvious choice would be he would like to talk more to the girl who's also open to, interacting with his family. So I think that is an important difference.
So what about like physical attraction? How much does that play between both men and women?
Oh, yes, you would. I mean, of course, everyone would like to find someone who they're attracted to. But then it depends on their age as well. I wouldn't say just men, differentiate between men and women. When you start dating, let's say in your early 20s, your physical attraction and looks are much more important to you. So that comes right at the top of the list. But then, as you get into your 30s and maybe your 40s, there are other things which, take precedence over that. So you're like, of course, it will be nice if he looks great or she looks great, but what are the other things they bring to the equation? So physical attraction is important, but the way we work is, even if 10 out of 10 things don't match in what you're looking for a partner, even if 7 or 8, we encourage them. So, sometimes, as you know, Jeff, photos can be deceptive. You may not get the real personality of the person just in a photo. So we
sounds like every dating app you've ever been on.
Right. So we're like, at least, be open to initial phone call. Maybe nowadays we have technology, do a video call.
Right.
So you can see the other person's facial expressions. What's their body language? Are they looking at you? Are they looking away? How these things are hard to do just on, messaging somebody, right?
Right.
So we encourage them to look beyond. And we do virtual events for singles as well. So when people come there, sometimes they're pleasantly surprised. They might have seen this person on a profile, but then when they actually talk to them, if they see how they interact, how they, present themselves, and they're quite impressed.